This presentation was focused on what I learned through the Hot Seat Bootcamp with David. It was a 4-day session where Dave helped me get my confidence back. And if you're like me and you find yourself being impatient and you're taking big drawdowns and you just can't seem to get a day, I highly recommend going back and watching the June 11th through 13th classes. It was great for me, and we touched a lot on psychology and trade management, and I hope to share some of the lessons with you here. And you all know me, but a little about me for people who are new. Live on Vancouver Island, Canada. I work in a small engineering firm. I started trading in 2015, but didn't really learn much. And my first hot seat was almost a year ago. Can't believe it. And I really started to understand the 3 and 50, the more presentations I did for the group in January 2024. And I still love Jeff Crystal's quote, "It takes a long time to get to simple." So
Yeah,
here are my
I love
aha
that.
moments. The first kind of session was my psychology's in the way. I found myself sabotaging my trading DNA, and I'll talk a bit about that. And then I said, what is my goal? What does the setup mean to me? What am I gaining in the setup? And heavy versus light. So work, my plan A and B, especially during summer. So those were my 3 aha moments I wanted to talk with you tonight. We'll be talking a lot about some level 2 and level 3 concepts, of course. So a warning, if you're kind of new to the group, just kind of follow along. Don't read too much out of it. We'll learn you good in the future. So aha moment number 1. Oh, I got a squeaky. I think my night trade hit my target. Sorry, guys.
I
My
love
psychology,
the rubber ducky. And rubber ducky means that you
the rubber
automatically
ducky.
you hit your goal and you don't even know it. I
Yay.
love that.
Perfect. All right. My psychology is in the way. So my first session with Dave, we talked about why I was destroying my confidence. Why do I have a tendency to do that? Why I tended to build way too heavy, too fast, and that was really messing up my account. I think I was down about 20% in my Darwin, and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna reset it and get back, but I don't want it to happen again. So I really needed a kick in the butt. Eagle. Uh, so, but why? And Dave didn't want to say that you're revenge trading, but I was. And why was I revenge trading? Why was I upset days and weeks after I had a bad setup? And there are a couple of reasons. You know, inherently, we all are brought up in a society where we want to be right. We inherently want to be right since we were little, from social pressure, being incentivized with awards like, you'll get a candy if you pass your spelling test or your exam. And even if you played sports growing up, we only got cheered on when we win or score a goal or get a point. You know, well, this destroys us as traders. How can we guarantee that we're always going to be right? Well, we won't. We will be wrong, but we try to be less wrong. So Dave helped me also realize that I'm a kind of person that doesn't really have an outlet. I don't find a way to ground myself, meaning that so when I have a bad day trading, it turns into a bad week and turns into a bad month. So it fuels my need to be right. Like I want to be right. But then Duke says, I've learned to be wrong more often. Yeah, you and me both. And it fuels my need to be right. So, which then makes me get heavy. And then I get heavy in the wrong places. And then I have a bad day. So it's almost like this, I'm spiraling out of control. So what can we do about this? Or what did Dave help me realize what I could do about it? My psychology will help me. Psychology takes a while to fix. We talked about it takes time and practice, practice, practice to adapt. All traders get into a psychological barrier at some point in their trading career where they need a breakthrough. So for me, it's being patient with myself. When I'm having some big feelings about my trading, don't sit on them for too long. We discovered that I could journal my trading session and get that release valve, or go for a walk with, you know, I learned this week, like go for a walk barefoot, you know, ground yourself, uh, get that release valve, opening up my frustrations with my trading. Um, Part of that is not panicking if I'm in the right or wrong direction. Like I needed to be right, just like my last slide, right? Um, but panicking, as a matter of fact, Sorry, let me say that again. So don't panic if you're in the right or wrong direction. We're good traders and we know what to do either way. So it's helping me is knowing, what will I do when the market goes against me? What will it do when it goes with me? And manage it, when, where, and how. When to plan out the trade, where to take action, and how is the market acting? Is it going toward where I want it to go, or is it going against me? So I need to get into plan B. As traders, and especially in our group, we're often right on where the market is going, but we're often wrong on how it's going to get there. So Dave helped me learn to plan that out, know when to get into a certain place, know where to take action, and how the market's acting. Where's my target? And this just comes back with being patient and journaling. Like, have practice and see how often we're right. Having a plan and knowing where to add will manage my impatience. And of course, yeah, we have to keep telling ourselves that we are good traders. When we have a bad day, it's not me, it's the market. We have to think that way. But also, when you get into that psychological barrier, get in a hot seat. It's our shrink's couch when we have time in the hot seat to really kind of unearth what's going on. And I was very fortunate and privileged enough to have that opportunity.
That's what we did with Hilarion today, huh, Hilarion?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that session.
We unpacked your trauma, your trading trauma.
We sure did.
Good job. So my aha moment number 2, what is your goal? I often found myself not happy with my trading. I'm going negative, but it's only 0.25% negative. It didn't matter to me. It was still a bad day. I would totally disregard that I would manage my risk accordingly, or I would disregard that for the month I'm up. It was just another bad day. Even if I made the 0.25% back, so let's say I was down negative 0.25%, and then I came back to break even. I was down out for the week and I was hard on myself for that. But those were traps for me, right? We have to celebrate our 0.25% and stop trading. And so when David asked me, 2 times you asked me this, he said, "What is your goal here, Nick?" And it was when I was in a trade and I went, oh, wait a minute, my goal is, I'm just taking little sips out of the market. I don't need the 0.25% in one big move. I don't need a home run. I can just, get little sips. That was a big moment for me. And then the second time you asked me that was, okay, Nick, you were down negative 0.25% and then you got to 0. Why aren't you happy with that? If that was your whole session, if that was 2 hours, stop trading. And that was just for me. I'm not saying everybody needs to do that, but for me, it was a big aha, because if I was still break even and, the session was winding down, it was 9 or 10 o'clock mountain time, I would be really frustrated by that. And so, the other aha moment to me was just celebrate the wins. Be happy with my 0.25%, even if it's coming back from a negative. And for me, with my Darwin, I stopped trading. Now, I can also go into a paper account. I can get into a practice account, right? But take those wins. That really helps me manage that frustration that I had, right? And helps ground me. Which brings me to aha moment number 3, trailer backing tips. This was a huge aha moment for me, and I'll share Dave's secret with you now. On Wednesday's class,
I'm still figuring this out. I don't know what.
On Wednesday's class, we learned Dave had the secret to communicating with your significant other when navigating an RV. So at the time, Dave was backing his homemobile into a camping spot, and he might have been grazing too close to a wooden pole. He was getting an earful about how close he was. When reversing an RV, you may notice your significant other being a little frustrated with you. You might have been backing up a little too tight to that wooden pole, and the couple's patience was wearing thin. But never fear, we have the secret. Film it. Without a camera, couples face the "what are you doings?" and "I told you to stop." We've all been there before, but when filming it, benefits include a calmer, more peaceful experience, video evidence against the mistakes your partner makes, and becoming an instant YouTube celebrity.
I can't I can't tell my wife that trick. So, and that happens if it happened a few more times, like, oh, film this part. Oh, film it. And immediately. You know, when you were a kid and your mom was yelling at you and trying and beating you, and then the phone would ring and she'd pick up the phone and she'd be like, oh, hi, how are you doing? It's like the instant switch. Put a camera in their hand and it's instantly from what are you doing to so we found ourselves.
Totally.
So I
Totally.
gotta ask Nick, is that an AI pick, or are there really like generic picks out there with people with cameras and RVs in the background?
Those were really good
Yeah, no,
picks.
I totally got this AI generated, and her smile is just so creepy to me. Like I was almost thinking I shouldn't on there
That's
because she
awesome.
looks
That's so good.
menacing.
She's
Anyway.
Canadian. So good though.
She's Canadian. Rude. No, really.
That's
Aha
so
moment
good, Nick.
number 3, heavy versus light. So I noticed that I had a tendency to get really nervous when I'm in the wrong direction. And that just ties back to my first uh sorry, I'm reading the comments. That ties me back to my first slide, right? Like being right. But if we manage our plan A and plan B, there's no reason to be nervous. Having that predetermined plan to know it could happen and manage our trades will get us in the right direction. So this was where I kind of had the aha moment. We were right before news, and I think this is Friday morning. And I was nervous, and this happens to me all the time in my trading. And this was what we started our first session out with, and this made it even more frustrating for me because news was coming into play. And I said, well, maybe news will push it down, but we don't know. So I was nervous here, and Dave said, no, why are you nervous? You only have 5. Well, at that point, I think it was 8 trades, but you only have 5 trades on. So what's our predetermined setup to get out and, what is it that we need to do? We need a predetermined setup so we don't self-bargain. If it comes down, do I get out? Or if it continues up, where do I add? Right? So in this picture I have right here, the question is, what's happening at this moment? It's ignoring market structure, and it might actually be doing a classic pump and dump with the news coming in, I don't know, a few minutes from now. So the easy decision is, at this point, it could just go down and hit target, and it's a great day. But the tougher decision was, well, what if it moves against me? How far will it go? So Dave talked to me about an analogy of setting a backfire, right? A backfire is basically a preventable thing along the highway where if a big fire breaks out, they have this site that's lacking vegetation. And it's just so that the fire doesn't continue spreading, jumping the highway. It's kind of a fire backstop. So our fire backstop is making sure that at the bottom of our trade here, oh, let me go back. So at the bottom of the chart here, I need my annotations. There we go. At the bottom of the chart here, we don't want to get too heavy, right? We want to stay light down here because, well, what could happen? Well, if it breaks here on news and comes way up to here, we need to conserve our bullets. And so often I'd get impatient with my trading and I'd be adding like crazy in here. But I was so tunnel visioned, I was failing to see, what is my plan A, which is, news could drop, or what is my plan B? It could go against me. And that's the tougher decision. So my backfire was basically, where do I clear my screen? Anyway, sorry guys, I can't remember how to erase my stuff.
I got you, maybe.
Maybe, sort of. There, thank you. So my backstop was to hover over the close button if it broke way high, if it was continuing to go up and up and up. So what would happen if news came out, it popped up, I'd be right here and I'd be putting in a ton of shorts, right? I'd be hitting that Brandon candle. That was my goal. But I also knew that if it stayed here, didn't give a pullback, it could have continued. So my backstop, my backfire was stay light down here, And when news comes out, stay light until we confirm, you know, smack into the Brandon candle. If it doesn't give us a pullback, get out of the trade. So it was learning basically to recognize what could happen. Don't get too heavy down low, get heavier up top. Okay. All right. Go away, annotations. Oh no, wrong button. Sorry, guys. Share screen.
And that's it.
And it's gone. No way. Oh
Good night,
no.
everybody.
Sorry, everybody.
This is the intermission.
Halftime. Yeah, from
Halftime.
current slide. Okay, here we go. So to continue the conversation, if I were to smack into 20 trades in the lower part, the upper part would be very difficult to bring our break even up. We want to have preventative trading versus reactionary trading. So like I said before, you can hover all the close all button. If the candle keeps going down and closes all of our trades down here, you know, if it really rocks down and pauses, we could secure our trades. But for me, having my close all button when it comes down and pauses, that's how I want to, you know, do this. And like I said, if it comes into the upper area, smack in for Brandon, but keep an eye on if it fails, get out. So let's see here. No, I'm not going to do that again. Stop annotation.
It's the little trash button.
There we go.
You know, make clear.
Got it. It's not showing up for me. That's weird. Anyway, so what happened in this trade? Well, actually, I ran out of margin. I was too heavy before news, meaning that my volume was too high. You know, this shot's deceiving, but I was at 0.5, I believe. So I was too heavy, but I was ready to close out. I was going to follow my plan, and it paused. So when it paused and came back, we decided, you know what, let's just stay and see what keeps happening here. If I was too heavy at the bottom, this is the whole point. If I was too heavy at the bottom, there's no way I could have managed my trade to bring my break even up. And so the result of the trade is that the market followed the plan B. We secured close, right where my arrow is. And due to spread, I got just under 0.25%. So what were the reasons I closed out? Well, I was playing it safe. I was out of margin. I was out of bullets and too heavy. And it gave me the option. So once I secured close, it gave me the option to close out. And if I wanted to go for another goal, let's say, or if, you know, I wanted to continue trading, I could do so. So the whole point of this is knowing where to go heavy and light in the setup helped me to recover. And it got rid of the nervousness for me and the need to be right. And I think that was what the real big point of all my aha moments were. And that's it. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, 25-minute presentation.
I have a question then.
Sure.
So if you go back to that slide, and even before that big, you know, jump, right? That big, like it looks like it's in a small range, right? So like, is that the reason why you went heavy? Because, you know, it got to the top of that, like, so before this big candle, right? Before the news event, you said you're heavy down here, right? So, like, doesn't that make sense to be heavy down here, because you'd be anticipating the market to go back down to the bottom of that range, right? Like, I suppose, yes, the market could do this big jump up like that, right? But I'm just trying to think, why would you go heavy down there, right? I probably would too, right? Anticipating it to come back down and at least give me an opportunity to get out before a jump, right? But
no, I'm sorry about that. I said heavy and I corrected myself because I said the reason I said I was heavy was because of my volume. I was at 0.5. Okay. So that was my fault. I didn't take the right picture, but it was 0.5 at the time. So for me, I was just saying I get nervous down here. But, you know, Dave and I talked about you're only in 5 trades. You know, I don't think you need to be nervous. So what I was having problems with was, you know, I'd be expecting it to come up to here and then I'd be getting heavy and bringing my break even up. But we noticed this is right before news. And so don't add here. Like let's wait and see what the action is. So
Oh,
if I
shit, okay.
was heavier down here, I wouldn't have been able to recover. So thanks for clarifying that. I wasn't quite clear on
Could be just my ADHD brain, but you know.
that. You and me both. No. So
So
yeah, no,
this was a perfect classic example of like just the news play where he waited and he didn't add like willy-nilly. I mean, he waited until it got to the top and it started to flicker, right? And then but the most important thing that I think you kind of overlooked, or not overlooked, you said it, but I think the most important thing out of here is that you were willing to cut everything if it would have continued and went higher, right? And you were
yeah,
waiting for that. I think that's the most important thing to risk management is like, well, you know what, I got to cut if it continues. It shouldn't, but if it does, I can't afford to ruin my trading account because I let it run against me too much, right?
which is really
So,
classic to what I always do, or I did. Sorry, don't do it
mhm,
anymore.
right.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple weeks. How has your trading been different by practicing what we've talked about and putting it into play? And from your presentation, the things that you're pulling out are one, I mean, just trying to go back and think. One, you're not you you're not, I guess, for the lack of you know, it's like you're having a plan in place if it goes against you, which is a plan B, right? And so we talked about that a lot, where you have a B, and a C,
Mhm.
right? And B doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that this is that B equals this execution, A equals this execution. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Um, yeah.
yeah,
I can.
I'm just curious,
I-
like, yeah.
So actually, it happened the other day. I missed an exit. So I think we were trading on Thursday, and the market. Just trying to remember what happened. So we were in a range. We were around the middle part, and we were trying to decide which direction it was going to go. And I was in buys, and the market broke in this range down. And normally I would have just added a few because I'd be nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But because of our training together, I recognized, no, this is a really good add point to switch directions because the whole day the trend was down. And so
Mm-hmm.
I did miss my exit here. So it came up and I recognized that I was doing it. And I said, no, it's my plan. So I ended up closing out here, which was wrong, but I top gunned it. And when I top gunned it, I turned a 1/4% loss into break even for the day. Um, and so kind of what I took from that is I executed my plan. I didn't get out in the right spot. The right correct spot would have been here. So like I said in the beginning, psychology takes a long time to fix, but I'm
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
recognizing it now and I'm seeing the opportunities more and trying not to be so nervous when it goes against me to recognize, okay, here's the setup. So I was incorrect on my exit here. I could have flipped. But when I did see wow, it is breaking here. Like there is down pressure. I closed out, top gunned, and I was able to get to break even off that move. Or even if it came back a little bit and retested the bottom, I got my break even. So for me, that was a big win because I would have fought the whole way down. I would say, well, I'll add a couple
Yeah.
here. Oh, now I'm in real big trouble. I better add a ton here. And if I didn't get out, it would be a really bad day. And I believe it did break down after this. So I don't know if that answers your question, but for me, it's just getting rid of that nervousness, that nervous energy, making sure that I'm journaling and making sure that I'm recognizing the opportunities as they come to me. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one of the things that we did talk about was having that that trader psych release, and that was important for you, right? And
Yeah.
it's important for everybody, but more so for you because of your personality type, right? And so have you incorporated that into your trading? And if so, how's it been? And if not, how can you remind yourself to do it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I have to journal more. Like I do know that that was something that we
Sure.
discussed was a good thing, and I haven't done it just because it was such a busy week. But if I don't make time for it, it's not going to get done. So I recognize that
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
week I was talking with my partner, and she's on me. She's going to be like, "You're journaling." So, and she's going to film it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so journaling, but also just
That's awesome. That's
recognizing,
awesome that
you
you
know
have
what?
that support system that, that's there for you.
Yeah, but back to our original discussion, like a break-even day, I'd be like, oh, that's the lost day. I didn't make my goal. But even just getting to break even, I celebrated. I was like, yes, that's an awesome achievement, to be down and yeah, okay, I recognize the wrong place to get out, but I recognized it. That's the point. So being patient with
Hmm.
myself, right? Takes a while
Hmm.
for psychology to fix.
Oh, it does. And it's something that you have to actively work out until one day you don't. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's just habit, right? You got to turn it into a habit. So,
And I mean, there was
um,
so many more aha moments. I just this was the ones I wanted to distill down in tonight.
no, and I think that by teaching this, putting this presentation together, will embed that and ingrain that and just hopefully help you moving forward. I really do love the fact that your partner you've included her in your support system, right? So that's really cool that you do that, right?
Thanks.
um I mean, that's something that I've done just recently to myself, not in trading, but when I'm driving a big rig, i have to be I have to be focused on the bridges or the overhead passes or whatever, right? The bridges that I go under. And I'm not used to doing that. And I'm not used to seeing and recognizing, hey, is this one too short for me? Can I go under it or not? And so I was telling my wife I need to do a better job at recognizing it. And so I said, hey, help me every time we see one, help me call it out. And if I miss it, go ahead and, uh, give me a love tap and if I miss it and you catch it. And so her love tap turned into a punch in the arm. So I'm driving down the road, smack. I'm like, what? Oh, it's a freebie. But that's almost the same thing that we have to do in trading when we're trying to, like with Hilarion, I was talking about, um, where he needs to add that secured trade in there. And if he doesn't, he needs to get punched in the arm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Somebody needs to something needs to happen so that we can recognize when we need to correct a behavior. And so I love the fact that you've included your partner in this as well. And that's just going to help you to get better for sure.
it's a
And
little frustrating
if
though, because I
anybody
think sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say if anybody needs any reinforcement like that, just let me know and we'll doll you every time you do something. But what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's a little frustrating because I think she'd be a way better trader than me. So I'm like, you got to get into Dave's hot seat, and she's not there yet. She's not there yet. I was like, he's
you're
looking for
you're
somebody
like
brand new.
you're like, yeah, she does it, she's better than you, then you'll be all salty.
Yeah, that's a whole
She's like,
new
no,
psychological
no,
barrier.
yeah. No, Nick, this is what you need to do. Why are you still doing that?
I think I need that sometimes, really.
That's fun. So, does anybody else have any questions for Nick? I mean, thank you for putting this together. It's awesome. How can it, just basically, if you could surmise everything that you can kind of put into everything from our trading sessions to this presentation, what is maybe some advice that you would give somebody that what would be your main pain point that you felt that you're now starting to overcome, and what would be some advice that you would give somebody if they had the same pain point that you have? Does that make
Ooh,
sense?
yeah, that's a tough one. You always ask me the good questions. I think it goes back to our first time we talked, where being impatient creates improper action. And I don't even think I really recognized how impatient, like I knew I was being impatient, but I didn't know what to do about it. And I think, if somebody's like me, I just have to say, go back and watch the June 11th through 13th. There's a lot of gold nuggets in there. But to sum it up, just being impatient, being frustrated, that's not the way to trade. It creates, for me, improper action. So really understanding, ask for help on knowing your plan A and plan B and when to switch. I remember even today in Hilarian's session, he said, I'm not a fast trader. I think it was Hilarian. And he is. He's a great trader, but it's that belief that says, I'm not fast. I felt that way too in my first couple of hot seats. And it's not true. Like we can see and we can read the market. Just it's just knowing don't be willy-nillying. Have your plan A,
Yeah,
have your plan B, and start light, like 5 trades, or less, depending on where you get nervous, right? But um, have your plan A, plan B, and stay light if you're in that position of I don't know. It's a 50-50. Nothing says you have to be impatient with that.
I love it. I love it a lot. Thank you, Nick, for sharing this. Thank you for putting this together. And I think if we're being honest with ourselves, and you're looking back, a lot of people do have issues with impatience, right? And impatience, and the number one cause of willy-nilly trading is impatience, right? Because we want our goal, or we want to get out of this trade setup, or we want it's aligned with the words we want, is often comes with impatience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the market doesn't care what you want. Care less what you want.
Yeah. I mean, that's another aha moment I'll save for another day was just knowing your max risk. We'll talk about that another
Right.
time, but that
Yeah.
was that was a big lesson too.